going to turn that question around because I'm not a hunter, I'm a conservationist. In many countries, people from Safari Club International, CIC, Dallas Safari Club, are paying money that they know is not going back to wildlife conservation, it's going to corrupt pockets. But you guys ready to take on that challenge because you know when you do hunting properly, through governance it works, when you don't, it doesn't. So where do you see your role in taking on that challenge? Or is it just something that's not up to you? Or are you going to be proactive about it? Start throwing the challenge to the hunters as well. Hunting works if you do it properly. Are you ready to do it properly?
I guess this is part of the debate that we have in the question of slave-made goods, because you've got workers in Bangladesh who are making $1.40, $2, $3 a day, and working in deplorable conditions and so on. And the response is, one, Americans are going to buy cheap clothes. We are not going to give up our lifestyle. We're not going to stop doing stuff. Europeans are going to buy cheap clothes. They're going to tax the crud out of it, but they're going to buy as cheap as they can get, plus the taxes. So if we don't do that, if we block that, this is the frustration that we have when we're trying to block the trade in slave-made goods, is if the response is always, well, then there's no money back there. But your point on governance, where there is governance, where there, as you lift people out of poverty, they can afford governance. As the middle class comes out of poverty, they can afford governance. It's the governance structure that sponsors the growth in human rights, in worker safety, in conservation and environmentalism. Environmentalism and conservation are a luxury, and I think we've established that also. The hunting will happen, it's going to happen, it's just a question of whether it's going to possibly generate money for the people in the communities. I'm not sure what the mechanism, and I like the idea, but what's the mechanism for making sure that your money goes back to the villagers as opposed to
I can tell you, I promise you, I can get you the data every flipping day, and I can tell you where it's honest and where it's not. Okay. Will your members respond to that data?
Okay, Benin.
I don't know Benin, but I know South Africa and I know Eastern Africa. But if you guys want to be serious, you've got to take this situation seriously. You can't just say we do great, but we pay corrupt people and the wildlife disappears. You've got to get proactive. Otherwise, the death of wildlife, you will lose the opportunity to say that. You guys are the most important, and if you don't do it, no one else will do it. I don't want to throw that responsibility on you, but it's yours.
Let me just interject here that you brought up earlier this notion of pay to play versus pay to conserve, and I think that as the Fish and Wildlife Service is evaluating permit applications and looking at specific funds that have been generated through hunts, whether that's the Namibian black rhino situation where you have money going directly to the Namibian government, or you have canned hunting happening in Texas where the money is going to trophy hunting organizations. I think that there's a lot of variety of how those payments are being made, and one potential solution would be to take it out of the private hands of that particular interaction and funnel it, for example. Maybe this works better from canned hunting within the United States than it does for specific hunting of wild populations in Africa, but we have the Multinational Species Conservation Fund within the U.S. It's a grant system that donates money to legitimate conservation efforts, and if funds were funneled through a transparent and reliable system, that could potentially have an impact on some of this corruption.
So my question, Dr. Child, is you had indicated that good governance is critical to the success of the lion, and you cited a handful of countries that were demonstrating good governance. How is it then that you put the onus on the lion hunter to try and somehow ascertain the noble intentions of the professional hunters and the outfitters? Wouldn't that be a function of that body that's demonstrating good governance?
Which body?
The authorities, whatever agency is tasked with the oversight of the conservation of the lion.
The reality is, and you guys know when you go hunting,